Listen not with the ear, but with the ear of the heart. Let a still small voice guide you. Let divine love embrace you. Be still and know that all is within. As we return from stillness, we bring with us a renewed awareness of our purpose. We bless this service. Any speaker, singer, and any soul that will share. We affirm that this time together is sacred, powerful, and transformative. And so we say together, and so it is.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen. Blessings. Welcome to yourself even in this month. I want us to understand that, you know, this culture that we've stepped into where this culture we've stepped into where the beginning of the month, we share prayers, we pray and make declarations into the month and all of that. It's great. Because great from the point of view that whatsoever we call, whatsoever name we put on anything, it becomes heavy. The action in our conscience. But sometimes I feel like some of these have become a bit mundane, a bit rhetorical, a bit redundant. February, month of this, January, month of this, August, month of this. Last night, was I never go to bed without a question on my mind. You can dictate your dream. You can dictate the dreams you have. Go to bed, go into soul vision mode, have a question on your heart. And then the great orders will pour wisdom in as you sleep. So late and I was asking myself, what does February hold? You see, we are in the month of February. The Hebrew calendar our February aligns with the final month of the spiritual year, which is governed by the letter Kuf. So it aligns roughly with the month of Adar, going into Nisan. And I was just there thinking about, you know, I love astronomy. So I just quickly went and I did a search on what cosmic alignments are happening over the period of December as we got. And I was quite startled. And that's what I went to bed. Because of that, I was even thinking of doing something, but that thought took that something away from my mind. I just slept with it because I didn't want to sleep with dirty thoughts. I wanted to sleep very clean. So, we are not just entering a new month. This month, I'm going to get us to do something. If you want, I always say you can plug in. You don't want to, you can play along. And I'll put some instructions on the form. And I'm praying that we take this serious and plug in and engage as much as we can. It's for your own spiritual development. You are crossing a spiritual threshold. You're not just entering a month. Because this month serves as a great, a grand, and a massive cosmic reset. From a Kabbalistic perspective, remember I've said that is the month of Adar. It aligns with the month of Adar, which is the last month of the Hebrew calendar or of the Hebrew spiritual year. So I consider it to be the bridge between the old world and a brand new cycle of consciousness. What you decide to do with that information is entirely up to you. Me saying that is not me being helpful. Am I not being helpful if I say that?
Yeah, it's okay. It's good.
Exactly. So, the wisdom. Adar is the month of the hidden light. Teaching us that God's presence reaches even from the lowest to the darkest places. So, my prayer that this month may all your hidden worries that no one sees, no one knows, the cares you have that you try so hard to hide and disguise, may they be transformed into visible joy. May you find the laughter, the joy that shatters every shell of limitation. And so it is. You are the seed point of a new era. And this is the very point or the very junction, the very moment where dreams become physical. So may your desires, may your dreams, may your aspirations, may they find their bones in your structure, find a soul. Have the courage to ground your highest visions into this physical and material world. It is possible. Possible. The 17th of February, solar eclipse will align in, what do you call it, in Aquarius. Initiating a revolution in consciousness. And I pray that as that alignment happens, remember we've said that this year is all about alignment. As that solar alignment happens, may the fire within you, the fire in the furnace of your belly, let it melt every stone, every snow of fear. May your path be cleared for a cosmic awakening. December is not the month of love, beer, People should leave this alone. Okay. Does anyone got any questions? And I wrote an affirmation this morning for the month of February. It says that through the breath of the Spirit and the discipline of my will, I birth my new world from the ashes of the old. My laughter is my weapon, and my peace remains my shield. May you find moments of joy and extreme laughter this month. May you find moments of joy and extreme laughter this month. And so it is. Amen. Let's go back to our talk. Transurfing reality. What do we remember? What do we recall from 2 weeks ago? What do you remember? Feel free to consult your notes. Anyone at all? We did an intro and we talked about what reality is. And then we began to look at what it means to transurf reality. What do you remember from that? Or is it a case of you don't even remember what you ate yesterday and I'm asking you about something that happened to you today?
Oh, remember, but I'm trying to look man, but let's do it Sunday. For the video, I wasn't present, but for the video, so I have notes for the Sunday before 4th. In my notes, I put dates, so 4th was there. So that's when we started transcending reality, and then
You're a good student.
we did look at the spoon and stuff. We talked about expanding your reality. If your reality expands, you see things differently. You've said this statement a lot of times through not only through the reality talkings, but even last week you did say it, which I think is like you always say, if you don't get anything at all, I like that whenever you see that, you don't get anything at all from the service, not everything we call real has the authority we give to or we give attention to. And that really makes sense a lot because things that are real to me might not be real to somebody because they might not be in the space that I am. So we cannot conclude that now this is real or something that we've not seen before is not real. Many times we give too much attention to the things that we can see or we have experienced and tend to generalize it for everybody. That's the reality that everybody should work with, which is entirely not true. That's just a bit that I can say.
Okay. Tell me.
You call me. So I think this thing keeps acting a bit.
Excuses.
Pardon?
Excuses.
So are you asking for what we've learned so far for the month or the week?
Well, reality transurfing. That's even worse because you've been sat here the entire time.
Pardon?
Carry on.
You said reality transfer surfing.
Yeah, what we talked about when you started to introduce.
Okay, I think the aspect that I remember was that that reality is all perspective, is based on how we, the individual, is looking at it, the angle in which the individual is looking at it from. And I remember we discussed that if you haven't, what is real for somebody else or for you, or what you're seeing is not the same as what someone else is seeing. So the core message for me is that it's all perspective, it's all based on the individual's point of view.
Yeah. Jay, Shamu. Anything else from you guys? All right. I'm not going to wait on forever. Whoever is ready can pour in, but if not, yeah. I was having this chat with someone. I think I mentioned it to you lightly as well, Anna, when I was talking about how I'm viewing, or how I view life, how I see things. I question my answers. So I will just wake up in the morning and I'll just lie down and I say, okay, so let's say, for instance, I was asking myself the question, okay, what is my idea, my concept about soul? What is everything that I've learned or I've made myself believe as being the soul? And I just pause and I ask, what else have I not considered? What if what I've been told? What if what I've learned? What if what I believe I'm imputing? What if it's not it? What else could there be that hasn't hit my reality yet? Go take yourself through that and you'll be amazed. You're not going to go crazy. You'll be amazed things begin to pop up to you in a different fashion. And I was doing that when I was looking at the soul. I looked at the I was thinking about reincarnation. That was because I make the sentence when I make the phrase. When I come across someone and I feel a very strong soul connection, I say to them that my soul recognizes you. And then I ask myself, what is this soul? I'm just using words, You have to use words to convey ideas. We use words to give us a certain feeling that we know something. We use words to give us a certain idea, to make us comfortable that we have an understanding about things that bother us. So we put it in a category, we put a name to it, and it gives us that psychological ease that, I know. It's like someone mentioned the name of a random person that you don't know. It will excite your curiosity. If they've done something interesting, you want to know who they are. Because you don't know them, it feels and sounds abstract. But the moment you can put a name or a badge or a tag on it, it counts. It makes you psychologically accept that, okay, I think I recognize what is happening here. That is what names and badges do for us. And that's why they become, I call it knowledge limiters. So if I say a car right now, an image will come to your head, and that image is based on what you've been told that a car is. You know? I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
Yeah, you are.
And as I was processing it, like, so consciousness. The idea that I've had a past life. I have that idea in my head that I was a Tibetan monk in my old life, based on certain dreams which had come to me repeatedly over and again. But is that really what it is? Does it really suggest that, let me just drift a little. Does it really suggest that my soul has had an experience before, that it's now recalling being trapped in this body now known as self? Or could it possibly be? I'm not afraid to be wrong. I shared that thought in a comment on one of the pages that I am on, Hermetic School. And I got a few people who agreed with the thought, and a few others who were like, oh, you have not possibly considered everything. And those who were saying I've not possibly considered everything, they were still coming at it from the traditional understanding that we know. They are using that same thing of what we know to maybe deny what I was trying to get across. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm only saying that this is what is coming through me at the time. That what appears to be the soul having had an experience in the past that it recognizes in this particular space. What if it is just because consciousness is one? One infinite reality that is expressing itself as all forms. So when I am in tune with what already has been, it feels like I recognize something in a past life. Because consciousness is absolute. It doesn't grow, it's just is. So what if that moment or that experience I'm having that is making me feel like, oh, I've lived this before, I've lived that life before, I recognize this person, I've been with them before. What if all it is me having that momentarily connection with that field of consciousness where me and that person are having the same resonance and making it feel like we've had a life before in the past? What if? I'm not sure if I'm making sense. When I talk like this, there's a woman in my life who thinks I'm crazy and I'm just creating theories. That is fine.
If you want to mention names, go ahead and mention names. Don't boycott.
A good girl knows his own. So
No, you are making sense, Jeff. You know, when you talk like this, I love it. And I begin to think of how we are as human beings, those who are awakened to truth. And for want of a better explanation, I'll use where we are now, the people that we are with now, the Western, say whites and then blacks, where we come from. As we were talking, I was just thinking of this. I've had a greater part of my education back home in Ghana. And you know how education back home in Ghana is. You give an answer to a question, it's either you are wrong or you are right. There is no room for you can do better, or whoever is teaching you to even have a second thought, is what he's saying, could he be right? He's not wrong, but could he be right? You know, see a bit of sense in what you are saying. And I came here and I've done a few courses, been in a few classes with kids. Oh, now you choose kids because most of them are about twice their age. They ask a question and they just open their mouths and say whatever comes to mind, whatever is on their mind. You see a teacher or an instructor, that's a good point. I'm sad that I know that this person has talked foolishness. What doesn't make sense. Say, oh, that's good. Any more? He begins to solicit ideas. And at the end of the day, all those ideas that I'm sat down, I'm not the instructor, thinking that they are talking nonsense. He puts them together and he adds his. He's never saying that his is right. He adds his or hers. Rev is true. What if? You see, the traditional church teaches us God is this, that is final. And they'll teach you that human beings made out of soul, body, spirit. We don't know what soul, we don't know what spirit. We have not even questioned ourselves. What is spirit? What is soul? What is body? We've not even questioned ourselves. What is soul? What is it? What if what you know is not what it is? Would that disturb God that you got it wrong here? Would that disturb God that you don't know? No, it won't disturb God. We need to ask questions, Rev. When you talk like the moment like this, when you talk, it awakens me more to keep questioning myself, to keep questioning what I know. So you are right, Rev. You are making sense. Go on.
I'd said I said this the other day and I shared on Facebook that we are not trapped by the world as we see it, but rather we are trapped by the thoughts we refuse or we are afraid to question. That becomes our trapping and our intention. We are talking about reality. I consider I consider it as timeline, because I've embraced the idea that we live in a world of parallel realities. Every possibility is available at the same time. Every possibility is available at the same time. You choose which one you switch to. It's like broadcast waves. CNN is broadcasting at the same time. BBC is, Al Jazeera is, Fox News, Deutsche Welle. They're all broadcasting at the same time. You tune into whichever one you want to listen to. Reality is parallel. One doesn't wait for the other. So I see reality as timeline. And I've come to also understand that time is not linear. Time is more of concentric circle. See? And it's not hard to prove from nature. And we can tap into these timelines, or let's call them memories, past and future, and even present. We can tap into them. That is sharp. So I'm saying this because I was just re-examining my thoughts on reincarnation. I was just re-examining it. That is what brought me to this. And we all have various factions, or we call them, in maths, or in quantum physics, we call them fractals. So fractals of our soul in all of these alternate realities. And all are connected through or this being we call God, or the oversoul, the all-encompassing soul that encompasses every soul. Last Friday, I had a question when you say God, what comes to your mind? And I was sat there, me asking the question to everyone else. and I was re-examining my idea and my concept of God. It's a very big question.
Where I am, even if you say, oh, God, my mind don't cast to the God that I was taught, back in the day, say God somewhere,
So some was saying it's justice, so God is just. When they think about God, they think about justice. When they think about God, they think about love. When they think about God, they think about consciousness. And these fragments or these factors of our soul are all working at the same time in these various realities. When you sleep, I'll ask you a question. When you sleep and you dream, what happens? The things you see in your dream, are you doing them for real?
Oh.
Did you say no? How do you know you're not doing it?
Well, you wake up and then.
Well, someone can dream and they're having sex and they wake up. When they wake up, they've had ejaculation when there's no one next to them.
But that woman that you're having sex will not be there. But that is the part that you want to. The one will win in the dream and you will come back like that.
Or you dream you are weed and you wake up, you are weed for real.
That's the only dream that comes to pass.
So no, I'm just trying to get us to rethink. How do you know that what you see in dreams is not true? How do you know? You have made yourself believe that it's only a dream. But how do you know?
Maybe it's a dream. But the dream is dreaming. You are the dream. Whatever is happening,
the dream is dreaming you.
Whatever's happening in the dream is a real person. You are the dream.
And that is exactly what I've said. That this awakened state is more of the dream that we need to wake up from. When I say that people thought I'm crazy, I'm not crazy. We have just accepted and adopted this as reality. But factuals of soul is living in all of these diverse and alternate realities. You have only chosen to switch to this. Get this when I'm dead. So that's why now I'll tell you confidently what I align with. I have shifted 90% from the ideal that we are living past lives or we are recalling past lives. But I am now with the idea based on the fact that all realities are parallel. I'm with the idea that is not past lives, but it's simultaneous lives. Past, present, future. Known, unknown, seen, unseen, happening at the same time. And we get the pleasure of switching in moments, and it feels like it is previous, but it's all happening at the same time. It's all happening at the same time. Does the soul reincarnate? I'll leave it that. I'm not going to push that. I'll come and unpack that in 2 years' time. But I accept and I feel. That's why I enjoy my sleep, I enjoy my downloads. It is just consciousness that is remembering itself. That is it. And if the idea of reincarnation helps us to make it make sense, so be it. To those who believe that they've lived, or some of us who have believed that we lived past lives in other bodies, in other eras, in other stories, I wouldn't say it's a lie, but it's also not the entire truth, based on my understanding of consciousness. It's not the entire truth in the way that we have been taught. Because the soul doesn't travel from body to body. Infinite consciousness. We only refer to soul. We only refer to it as soul in this space during this time and this phase that it's inhabiting. That's why I asked the question about the dreams. And science will explain it away as though when we are dreaming, it's just energetic activity in the mind. That's a scientific perspective. But is that the entire truth? I don't think it. What does the travel is not the person. Neither is it the self. It's just wild consciousness. Just wild consciousness. Ama, you were saying something.
Well, I mean, I do agree with what you're saying. And
But
I said and. I don't use buts. If you say but, it negates what you've just said.
I know. Good.
And another perspective is that yes, science doesn't believe it, although they measure activities, they dream, they know that people for sure dream. There are also evidence. I mean, science cannot prove these things or anyone prove it, but experience will prove it to you.
What is experience?
Good. The experience of, that because we're talking about the soul, right? Somebody would say, oh, some people also believe that, I mean, there's no soul or anything like that. We're just there, just the material world. Those are the materialists. And then we have people who also believe in that there is a soul. And then it brings, as you're talking, you remember that movie we watched with the boys, and that the guy he was looking for healing, and he went to this monks, and he didn't believe,
Dr.
beyond
Strange. Yeah.
this. That's the strange. He didn't believe beyond the physical. So the lady taps his shoulder, and then he
I was
comes
watching it yesterday.
Yes. And then he comes out of his body, and he was like, whoa, what is this? And then he comes in. That is experience. And I believe that these things, as we say, we'll say, what if? What if? It's all your perspective and your experience. So if there's someone who also say for sure, certain that this is, this whatever reincarnation, whether it be that the soul, there's no soul, all of that, definitely knows that it is there.
I've not said there's no soul. I never
No, I didn't say. I'm saying that only because there are also people out there who believe there is no soul. Yes, because you remember this morning you told me to study this have a talk about it, and I quickly went to my notes to check, and that came up. You understand? Yeah. So that's why I'm saying that. So I'm not talking about to you. I'm saying it generally.
See, what really traverses time is wild consciousness. Think of it in an alternate. So the analogy of radio waves makes a lot of sense. What you're choosing to tune into, you're choosing to tune into material reality. So it's making you think all others are either pre-existence or post-existence. No, but they are all available at the same. That's why we are dealing with the subject of transurfing. So what traverses time is wild consciousness. It is not the character that is played. This is a character that is played in this consciousness or in this material awareness. But what is moving across time is wild consciousness. And when I ask myself these questions, permit me, what we are talking about is very heavy stuff. I'm not taking it for granted. Okay, it's heavy stuff. But we have to look at it because there is truth in all of us. The error that I think that we've made is to imagine the face or the soul as having a face or having a personality, a history, a biography, and like a linear sense of rebirth. Okay. But I've come to a place now that I'm looking at it and I'm going, if we look at it that way, then in essence, what we are saying is that there is the possibility of the death of consciousness itself. Because if the soul carries identities, the field would be full of shadows that don't fade away. It will be full of names which never disappear, be full of stories that appear not to dissolve. And that, in my opinion, will violate the very first law of consciousness, which is that consciousness is permanent. It's only identity that is temporary. What we see and view as past lives, they are just echoes, fragments of memories. Based on what reality we are tuning into per time. Ancient waves of the field that touches the individual per time in a particular space, and it makes them feel that, oh, I've seen this before. You just had a hit at a point, a switch to a different timeline happening at the same time. And then it feels like I've seen this before, because you have that experience and you transport it into this reality. The same as dreaming. When you are dreaming, you are in your bed. You are in your bed at the same time, and at the same time you are running. At the same time you are chasing somebody. At the same time you are fighting with somebody. At the same time you are resting. That would be a saying that when you sleep, your soul leaves your body. If that were the case, how can you also dream and know in the dream that you're dreaming? Oh, this is messing with my head, but I'm enjoying it.
Some brands sponsor athletes for their glory. But we're working real fun. So we sponsor Team
Should I close? I think I should. It's just too much for a Sunday afternoon. And if it interests you to know, I have not even started today's lesson. We are not small creatures trying to beg reality for scraps. No, everything is available. We are a mode, we are an expression of reality itself. Remember that. Yeah. We and the world arise together. I said this a few times. The present is not like a segment of time sandwiched between the past and the future. No. Ever continuing presence. There can never be a future. We only have that thought of a future because it helps us understand something that is not happening now. But the truth of the matter is, when tomorrow arrives, it's still now. There's nothing beyond that. So you look at it in terms of, oh, you know what, I didn't know this yesterday, today I know it. So based on what I know today, I will take an action to change tomorrow. But when tomorrow comes, it's still now. You can only have memory in the now. You can only have imagination in the now. When you are recalling from memory, you don't go to the past physically to remember the past. You recall the past now, and we imagine the future now. That transportation we do, that transportation that occurs in our mind, all happens now. All there is presence. Why? Time is an illusion. Going back to where I started from, we put names and concepts on some of these things because it stops us from worrying. Okay, this is what it is, and then we can forget about it and move on to something else. We have put a name to it, so we don't have to overly worry about it. It doesn't have to bug us for us to be thinking, oh, what if, as I'm doing, and I'm just going crazy. You know. So you and reality are two sides of the same coin. Transcending reality is going beyond you and the perceptions and the narratives that you have enforced upon yourself. How do I force life to obey me? It's a question that the naive mind will ask. How do I get events to align in a way that I prefer, I like them? But the deeper question, the more empowering question, in my opinion, will be, how do I return to harmony with the deeper current that is already moving? It's all about returning. So our number one, our primary, our foundational certainty is consciousness itself and the fact that it's absolute. When I mentioned experience, I asked what is experience for a reason. experience changes. Things change, bodies change, but awareness remains constant. So with that eye, from that lens, reality is not merely what happens or what appears. It is the space of knowing in which whatever thing that appears or whatever appears. It's not only out there. As I said, you and reality are two sides of the same coin. It's shaped by your inner world, ultimately. And that's when I, in closing, will recall this statement that Carl Jung makes, which I love. Says that when the unconscious is unseen, it is lived as fate. When the unconscious is unseen, we leave it as if life is happening to us. Okay. And when we see it, we realize that we are cause and effect, as opposed to suffering the effect of causes. Cause and effect, not cause and effect, cause and effect. Your perceptions are what are tuning you to the band of experiences. So when I asked the question, what I was trying to just get at was the fact that our experiences are our creations. They are our creations. It's all informed by our perceptions, how we see them. Think back to the snake in the room analogy, or the rope in the room, which was perceived as a snake. So reality, it's never a fixed thing or a fixed object that traps us or that we are trapped in, but it's a living field in which consciousness has its own participation. Think of it, let that sink in. Oh, Charlie, there's no money in my account. Oh, I'm talking about the reality. I'm talking about the reality, and we defend it with our blood. Come on, chill. I read a story of a Nigerian man who the bank apparently made a mistake of sending, I think, 250 million naira into his account. Eh? No, you're muted.
I said, hey, let this mistake happen to me.
Yeah. So they transferred over 250 million into his account, and then they contacted him that it was an error. It was just in the news 2 weeks ago or last week. They contacted him that he should return the money, and he was like, no, he can't return it. And I was like, oh, he's going to have to go to jail. I'm like, yeah, you'd rather go to jail for 2 years and keep the money there. Like, give them the money, don't go to jail. So he decided to keep on the money. They managed to recall, I think, 20,000 or something like that. He's moved the money elsewhere, and he's ready to do time 2 years for that money. You know, how many times has it not happened that we've had money come into our account and we didn't know where we came from, and it came exactly the time we needed? At least 2 incidences. True. Emma, I'm talking to you.
Come again. You said how many times have we had?
No, I said, how many times have we had money come into our account for the exact need that we require without us even thinking of it? See? How many times have I written myself checks and I've received the money exact amount to the switch? One for 15,000 and another one for another 10,000.
Yeah.
Sadly, as I've written it. This year, hey, where's my check? I've written another one. Because my madam told me that I should write it. I've written it.
Yeah, writing it doesn't mean you should share it.
Oh no, wait. So that it comes, that is you can come in. When it comes, it's my money. If you like, go and write your own.
If I come and borrow money and you say you don't have, I know say you're just giving but some money is there.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you the amount on it, but yeah. Yeah. But I'm just trying to say, you never know. Yeah. So, is there any question in Chasu? You're muted.
No question from me, Rev. Perfectly said.
Okay.
Same here.
Beautiful. Anyone more? Anyone else? Next week, we'll pick this up. We go into why common happiness. You start off with why common happiness methods fail. Yeah. These things I'm sharing, they have become lived experiences.
The words we speak unto are their life and their spirit.
Everyone wants comfort, everyone wants abundance. We want freedom from illness, relief. We want the storm in our lives to cease. Yet life often feels like it has its own plans. Who can identify with that?
Yeah.
It feels like you are some paper boat in some turbulent waters sometimes. So we try the popular prescriptions which New Age teachers have given us. Be positive affirmations, visualize, work harder, fix yourself, heal your inner child, do the shadow work. These 10 techniques before breakfast, say these things to yourself before you wake up. All these things. At first, they inspire us with hope until you come to the realization of the inner hidden message. You are not enough as you are. You've got to become something else. That is essentially what it tells us. You have to become something else to receive the life that is already you. I've thought about this over time, been there, done that, and I've come to a place of accepting that most of these don't work. And we will drill into why and how they don't work.
I asked this question. I asked somebody this question, and I was getting awakening in CFM, and then there was a prayer point that somebody raised, and it seems to be our method of prayer. That's why we always pray that God elevates you. You are changing job. You are getting promotion. You are right as you are saying. You want to be somewhere. You want to be somebody. And I asked somebody, what if where I am, that is where I'm supposed to be? Okay, I'm a W1. I'm praying to become W2. So who will become a W1? What if where I am, if I'm a laborer, if I'm a construction worker, whatever I'm doing, what if that is where I'm supposed to be?
Because we've gotten this false impression.
Somebody must add to the life of this world in the capacity of being a laborer, in the capacity of doing whatever they are doing. Why do I feel that is not the place that I want to be? But I want to be a manager because we are seeing people and we have defined what we want to be. We want to be somebody.
So, And because it doesn't work, your soul knows it doesn't work. That is why we have subtle resistance. Once you're saying, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, there's resistance within you. So the issue is not really what you want to become. The issue is what you need to embrace. That's what you need to stop fighting. And when you stop fighting, the life that is doing you will unfold in this glorious magnificence in a way that blows your mind. And that is what I'm finding out. It's not because you are lazy, but because your soul knows truth deeper than you have opened yourself up to embrace.
I think that's what Paul meant when he says, I've learned to abase and abound. Being content. If it doesn't mean you are lazy, it doesn't mean you don't want to drive a Range Rover. Even if now I'm driving a Ford, it doesn't mean that. But if you embrace it, you know there's nothing wrong with that. You are not aspiring to be somebody. You are just enjoying the moment with what you have. Because that is who you are.
Yeah.
I think that agitation or discomfort in our spirit comes in when we are overly focused on material manifestation. When we are overly focused on, materializing and not enjoying, as we're saying, what you are and being grateful for where you're at. And I think when we have a gratitude mindset, which, I mean,
Gratitude is
it's,
gangster.
pardon?
Yeah.
I saw that point as I was going to ask you. Okay, to mind to write that.
Yeah, gratitude is gangster. Gratitude is gangster.
Yeah. We constantly have the gratitude, not that you will not shift from it, or you just need to learn to, when you move from it, you come back, training the body. We should understand that this whole process is growth. Nothing, you don't put any seed on the ground and you just wake up and it's a tree or a corn. It's gradual. The most important thing is, as you've said, enjoying the moment and growing through that. That's all it is.
See? You may be conditioned, you may be distracted, you may be burdened, you may feel misaligned even as we have these sessions on alignment. But understand that you are not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. There's just everything wrong with the way you see you. That is where the shift needs to happen. So I am at this point wary of any path that requires me to hate myself into holiness. Any path that requires me to please my ego and the dictates it throws at me. I'm not trying to construct a new me. All of these talks that we're doing in Transurfing is a call to remember who you've always been. Wisdom in flow. Remember yourself and return to the original orientation, your original orientation of power, peace, serenity, and alignment. But most of us, we try to change reality the same way crazy or mad people look at themselves in a mirror. Like staring at the mirror and you want to see a reflection of someone smiling. You're not going to scream at the mirror and say, smile, change, give me what I want. So stop doing that, stop doing this. No. You do, it reflects. You do, it reflects. It just reflects your projection. Are you with me? You don't fight the mirror. You just have to change what its reflection is. And the reflection in the mirror is your own projection. I'm done. Let's pray. It's your own projection. I want you to brood on how this word has come to you. What it inspired in you. What is getting you to rethink? What is getting you to re-examine? And as you say with this thought, imagine a silver cord extending from the base of your spine into the center of the earth. Observing breathing happening. Now switch to a more conscious breathing zone. Inhaling for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Let's do 4 rounds of that. And the long exhale is only signaling to your nervous system that the threat of the ego is over. Now you can just breathe a sigh of relief. And if thoughts are happening, you know that it's absolutely fine. You are not the thinker. You are not the thought. You are just the observer of the thought. Now imagine the moon. And imagine the sun next to it. And imagine or see the moon slowly sliding in front of the sun. And as it slides in front of the sun, the world darkens inside your imagination. And as this darkening process happens, see your corporate mask, the personality labels, the identity labels, your social roles, the self-criticisms. See them dissolving into the shadow even as the moon masks and moves over the sun or across the face of the sun. And every thought that is arising, even in this space, as it arises, just label it as old data and watch it drift away like a cloud. You're not arguing with the thought. You're not even trying to change it. Just allow this eclipse to swallow it. And now observe the silent gaps in between the thoughts that are flashing and racing through your mind right now. These gaps are your higher self. Just rest there. Just rest there. And as you observe it, and as the moon is traversing, the sun is beginning to peek around the corner of the moon again. And you're seeing a glimmer of light. And see this intense, visualize this intense single point of velvet light hit the center of your brain. This is your integration. There's the Saturn-Neptune energy. Feel your highest spiritual dream being locked into your physical DNA. Feel the next evolution of yourself. See the highest ideal of your emergence. Highest ideal, the highest idea that you hold of your magnificent self. With the piercing of this velvet light into your brain, see it etched in your DNA. Feel it. This is your new foundation and spirit. Now slowly wiggle your toes, fingers. And allow the dissipation of this energy throughout your entire body. Feel it. Immortal, eternal, ineffable, and uncreated Father of all things. Ruler of the ethereal immensity, where the throne of thy power is elevated, from whose height thy dread-inspiring eyes discover all things, and thy sacred and exquisite ears hear all things. Listen to thy children whom thou hast loved from the beginning of ages. For thy golden, great, and eternal majesty is resplendent above the world and the starry heaven. Thou art raised above them, O sparkling fire. From thence you illuminate and support thyself by thine own splendor. There comes forth from thy essence overflowing streams of light, which nourish thine infinite spirit. O Father universal, only one. O Father of blessed mortals and immortal, thou hast specially created powers who are marvelously like thine eternal thought and adorable essence. Establish them superior to the angels who announce to the world thy wishes. Finally, you have created us, the third rank in our elementary empire. There, our continuous occupation and employment is to praise and adore thee and thy wishes. There and here now, we incessantly burn with the desire and the aspiration of possessing thee. O Father, O Mother, most tender of all mothers, O admirable archetype of maternity and pure love, O Son, O flower of sons, form of all forms, soul, spirit, harmony, and the number of all things. Amen. Shalom and life to us. Bye-bye.